So this has been my project this weekend. I am not done yet, obviously, but built this entertainment center that you're seeing right now. Picked it up at Big Lots. It was one of my very, very, very late birthday gifts that I got just now, and set up this small 32-inch TV. I need to upgrade this TV. I'd like to get like a 48-inch or 50-inch in here, and TV prices have gone down just dramatically. You can get like a 50-inch Vizio for like $350 that actually is pretty decent and very well done. So we got a little old console set up here, the PlayStation 3 Slim, the Xbox 360S, the Wii U over there. There's a cable box down there, and the Wii U gamepad is charging. Now, I just got this today. This is something I actually ordered off of Amazon, but I actually found this at Best Buy today, and it wasn't supposed to come through Amazon until tomorrow. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to wait. I want to have this all set up. I'll just return the one that comes in through Amazon tomorrow, and I'll buy this since it was the same price. So it's nice. This nice bookshelf. I'm actually organizing all my games. All these right here. This is my entire last-gen collection: PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii U. It's a mess. So I'm definitely going to be cleaning this up. Right now I'm organizing all my games by the year that they came out. I just got done with the 2006 games I have. Going to be moving on to 2007. And then I'm going to reorganize that. I'm going to take out all the games that I actually played and just make sure that the ones that I haven't played yet are actually in there. I get a lot of questions from people like, why do you replay your games? You know, why do you go back here and collect games? I'm going to have a video up this week, similar to my entertainment and storytelling vlog. It's going to be a gameplay discussion like that, but it's going to be more geared towards why I replay games and the fun I have replaying games in this current state that I'm in. So it might be interesting and food for thought for any of you guys, but this is my entire last-gen gaming collection at the moment. There is a lot. I want to do an updated video on my last-gen collection when I actually get all my games situated. There's still a ton of Xbox 360 games I have to get. I'm almost done with my PlayStation 3 game collection. I'm almost done with it. And then there's some other Wii U games that I haven't gotten yet that I actually want to get to. So it's funny how some people will call me, like last gen I got like, oh, you're such a PlayStation fanboy, and like early this gen, you're such a PlayStation fanboy, and right now it's like, oh, you're such a PC fanboy, and it's like, bro, I just love games, and I go wherever the best experience is. For a lot of times, the Xbox 360 was where the best experience was for console gaming. Even though the PlayStation 3 had the power to really overtake the 360 in a lot of areas, the confusing architecture and just the whack-out stuff that they put in there just really made it a more of a hitch for console developers and things like that to get their game to run properly. And so a lot of the early PlayStation 3 titles ran like crap compared to their Xbox 360 counterparts, and a lot of times looked like crap too. It wasn't until like the later parts of this generation, last generation, like the last like 2-3 years, where game developers finally got, used to the architecture of the PS3 and were able to use the Blu-ray disc to really make their games look and perform better. But man, I just love games, and I just go wherever the best experience is. And I set it up this way, not to do this video, but it's just so I can see better where all my games are. Instead of having them all just layered around on the floor, I can just look at where the games are located and just grab the ones that I need to organize it the way I need to. All right, so a lot of games to get to. Status update of this: it is finally done. I'm just going to do a quick run through of all the games I have currently. Now, this is not everything. There is some stuff that's in a box because it's just too big to put on this rack. All right, so this was supposed to hold 150 games. It's not completely full, but it's pretty much almost full. All right, so here's all the games I have so far for last gen. I got rid of some on my PS3 and 360 to get them on the other platform, and if you don't see them here from my last video, then, well, I probably will be getting them later on. Just couldn't find them at the time. Okay? Most of these games I played, but there's still a lot that I haven't actually played. So, just wanted to do a quick run through of this. Excuse me. Okay. Close-ups. Alright. So that's pretty much my entire last gen gaming collection for the moment. I still got a lot more games to get to, but hope you enjoyed that. It's a little nice Twitter exclusive for you. Now I gotta find the time to play all these. Shit. Every once in a while, I make it in a point to go back and re-experience some games. And I have a lot of people who actually question why I do this. More people question, where do I find the time to do this? But I get a lot of people who also ask, what is it that you find in replaying a game? What is it that you find in a second experience from a game where you already know what to expect? You already know how the game ends, provided that it's a linear story. What is the point of you replaying game experiences? Now, this video actually kind of comes in coincides with my good friend Dean Thompson. He makes he makes a ton of vlogs, videos, and he discusses very interesting topics. And I want to reiterate a quote of his that I think is actually very important, and I actually stick by with very much. He always says, if a game is worth playing, it is worth replaying. And I attest to that 100%. I love video games, and I love to play video games, and I love to play all sorts of video games. I don't just like to sit here and give myself one experience. Sure, I have my favorite genres. I love action games. I love very story-driven games, but that doesn't mean that I won't occasionally pick up some of the more popular multiplayer-only games, or something that is a little bit out of there, a little bit different than what you would expect someone like me to really enjoy. So I like to give myself a variety of experiences. I replay games mainly because I love the games to a point, and I also kind of go back and replay them from a creative standpoint, if that makes sense. Now let me explain. You guys know that I want to be a game developer in the future, that I want to create video games, and more importantly, I want to be involved in the storytelling aspect of video games. I actually want to be a creative director and also a writer from stories, and give you guys experiences and video games from ideas that I've come up with over the course of my late teenage years to early adult years right now. And so there's a pretty decent list of about 8 or 9 games that I actually would like to make in my lifetime. And some of these are old franchises that I want to bring back, and some of these are brand new IPs. And this is all pretty much leading up to the final game I would make, which would really be a push in a new direction for this industry. Now, the point that I'm making with that is that not everything is ready to be released right away. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're doing it at the right time. And if you're not doing it at the right time, then you're doing it wrong. Everything has to be kind of coming out and fall into place perfectly and executed perfectly in order to make the biggest impact possible. So I replay games because I like to get inspired creatively. When I was back, when these games came out when I was a lot younger, keep in mind that I got the PlayStation 3 in 2007. I got the Xbox 360 in 2009. And so I missed a lot of the early Xbox 360 games and so on and so forth, and also the early PS3 games, just quite frankly because it was actually 2 reasons, quite honest. One, I was young. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a source of income, so I couldn't buy all the games I wanted to buy. Number 2, my parents were actually very strict and enforced the rating system on me, so I wasn't actually allowed to play any M-rated games until I hit about 16 years old, is when they just didn't care. And when I started making money and I can actually start buying them on my own and whatnot. So I actually had this strict rating system in place, and that meant that a lot of the game experiences, which I really did want to play, I just could not play. And so I also made it a point in time to go back and find those games that I really wanted to play in the past and play them. And some of those games that I played in my very early days, my very early... I'm talking about, keep in mind, last generation, the very early days of last generation, when I was really starting to take gaming seriously. Not saying that I didn't take it seriously before, but I was a kid and I wasn't mature enough to fully understand what the game experiences really meant to me. And that being said, is when I played a lot of these games on PS2, I played these games, but I don't really remember much of them, to be quite honest. And there's only a few experiences that stick out in my head, but even then they're very vague and they don't really mean anything. They don't have any emotion or something like that. All I know is that gaming's been a part of my life, and it's been a really important part of my life, and it's always been something that I've enjoyed doing. But it was in when I started early last generation, when I started to really mature a bit and I was getting into high school and whatnot, it was really when I started to get really into video games, and I started to realize that this is a career path that I would possibly want to pursue. It's when I got this new perspective of when I was playing games, when I started doing YouTube and I started actually dissecting the game experiences and doing my old reviews, when I communicated and got myself involved in the community surrounded by the games that I loved playing. So I go back to replay these games because I really just want to remember what the experience was like, because I really just don't remember what it was like the first time around, if that makes sense. I didn't hit that maturity level, and I didn't have that same perspective that I do now when I play games. Me playing games now, I play games so much differently than I used to play games. When I used to play games, I would sit here, I would wake up. I remember when I played the very first Uncharted, I would wake up early, it's like 9 in the morning, I wouldn't even get dressed, I just got out of bed, I turned on my PlayStation 3, I grabbed my controller, and I started playing Uncharted Drake's Fortune. And I'm not kidding you, I beat that game in a day. Nowadays, I would sit here, and a game like Uncharted would probably last me around 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days to be quite honest. And that's not that's a little bit of an account of the less time I have to play games, but that is also an account for how differently I play the games. Now I play the games looking around the environment, I take my time, I really try to pay attention to what's going on, and I also really make it a point to prolong my gameplay experience. A lot of people call me a completionist when I play games because I just like to do everything that the game offers, or at least the very big meat of what the game has at its core. For example, I just finished playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It took me months to beat that game, mainly because my computer broke down, yes, but when I played that game, I conquered all the boroughs, I completed every side mission for every character and every assistance opportunity and everything like that. I unlocked almost everything in the freaking game. I got every single upgrade. I got every single gang upgrade. I got every single skill. I made it in a point to explore the city. I wrote down on a list what I wanted each of my characters, both Evie and Jacob, to wear, and to have what weapons they would have, what color everything would be dressed, what color they would be dressed in, everything like that. And I made it in a point to go around and collect the collectibles and the resources that were required to get the stuff that I wanted. That is how I play games these days. Before, I would used to say, oh, I'm gonna play Assassin's Creed Syndicate. All right, I'll do side missions and some near it, I guess. Oh, story. Oh, wow, I beat this game, and wow, I just got it Tuesday. It's Saturday. I beat the game already. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I probably put a combined total around 45 hours in that game. I'm not kidding. I did as much as I could, besides the, going off and actually trying to collect every single freaking point and whatnot. But my point is that is why I replay games, because before, when I played these game experiences, I did not do that. And I really feel like I missed out on the core of what the experience had to offer. And so it's really important. I find it really an important part to me as a gamer to go back and experience these games, just quite frankly because I love them so much and they matter to me. And I also want to make sure that, it sometimes it ends up that when I replay a game, I like it more, or oh, I didn't like it that much, or wow, I can't believe I didn't think about this part of the game before, or wow, this story is very engaging. Why didn't I think so? Like, why don't I remember this? This is really entertaining. That is why. And when it really comes down to it, I encourage everyone, if you ever have the downtime and the opportunity to replay games, for me it's actually quite simple. The reason I find time to replay games is because I do play a lot of games. Yes, I pretty much want or make it in a point to get every single new release that I can. And if I don't get every single new release on release day, I will eventually get it down the line. I do have a backlog from this generation. I still have to get to Mad Max. I really do want to get to that game. Again, I'm sorry. I must apologize to my friend Dean Thompson again, because he got me the trilogy set on Blu-ray. I gotta watch those movies and I gotta play those games. Don't worry, I have not forgot about that. You know, just this year, this year it's kind of unfortunate because I kind of ran into financial issues, but that's getting cleared up. But just this year, my backlog: Street Fighter V, Far Cry Primal, The Division, Dark Souls 3, Ratchet and Clank, Doom, Homefront: The Revolution, The Technomancer, Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter. So I mean, just all these experiences, and yeah, but a lot of people would say, well, dude, don't get The Division, you're not gonna like it, or don't get The Technomancer, it kind of sucks. Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter is not good as Crimes and Punishments, don't get it. But I always feel it's important to experience games for yourself and to derive your own opinion, because someone else may sit here and talk shit about a game just because they don't like it, just because it doesn't sit well with what their interests are. But that doesn't mean that you won't find something special. I also feel today that a lot of people are very negative towards gameplay experiences, and that can also be said by the negativity surrounding the gaming industry. But it's also unfortunate that some people allow that negativity to infect their game experience, and that can be quite poisonous. It really can. So that is why I like to replay games. I really feel like it gives me a new perspective on, replaying these games. Sometimes I like the games more. Sometimes I like the games, or I dislike the games, much more than I did previously, and it can really change my experiences. And also at the same time, that there's a lot of games that I missed, and so because I really had an interest in those games before, I want to make it in a point to go back and replay some of those games. I'm still collecting games for my Xbox 360, for my PlayStation 3. I'm almost done with my PS3 collection. I only have a few more games to get, but my Xbox 360 game collection is going to be huge. And I actually made it in a point. Some people are going to actually think this is stupid, but just because what matters to me most is the best experience, I made it in a point to actually, I traded in a lot of my PS3 games. I actually bought the Xbox 360 version just because it was the better version of the game, just because it ran better and or it looked better. A lot of people say, well, you have a PC, why don't you just get the games on there? But for me, this is kind of how I'm going about it. I didn't get into PC gaming until January of 2012. So all games before January of 2012, I could sit there and actually say, well, I didn't have a PC before this, so this is the experience that I would have had if I got this game. A lot of people probably think that's stupid, but that's just how I am. It also gives me a reason to go out and find these games and collect them and stuff like that. And collecting games is a lot of fun, man. I just bought recently, I think, 4 games. I bought The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I found a really nice copy of Destroy All Humans: Path of the Furon for Xbox 360. I know that game's been rare. I have friends of mine who've been looking for that game, quite honestly. The original, the reboot of Alone in the Dark, which I heard is god-awful, but it was 80 cents, so beat that. And there was one other game, too. I'm not really sure. I eventually want to do a full collection video of my PS3 games, of my Xbox 360 games, and also I guess my Wii U games. Yes, I do actually have a Wii U. It's really my stepbrother's, but he sold it to me for $150 with like 6 games and like 4 controllers and stuff. I can't believe how much money he wasted on that, but he sold it to me. I still have to give him the money. That's the funny thing. But I still have to give him the money for that. But I do have a Wii U. I do have access to a Wii U. And I do want to build a collection for the Wii U and play the games that I do already have on the Wii U. I got to find time to play those too. I mean, I just feel I have a large backlog, right? I just feel like, life is almost too short, and it's hard when you're a hardcore gamer like me. It's hard when you play almost every single game that comes out, when you buy around 30 plus games a year for the new systems and you play all of them. It's hard to sit down and find time to play the older games. For me, you guys know that my parents are divorced, and even though I'm 22 years old, right? So I mainly live here at my dad's house, and I have my PS4, and my Xbox One, along with my big ass gaming PC. when I do visit my mom, and she lives around 90 miles away in Orange County, I have the PS3 and the Xbox 360 along with the Wii U set up over there. And so when I'm there, usually around 2 or 3 days, every other week, I make it in a point to go back and play some of the old games, because that's just the time that I have to do it. Well, okay, well, over here, well, I don't really have my PS4, I don't have my Xbox One with me, I don't have my gaming PC. I'm not going to move them from house to house. I can live without my PS4 or Xbox One for a few days. But I'll just, I'll sit here and I'll play games on my PS3 and Xbox 360. And it's really enjoyable. It really is. I got a nice TV. I still have that 32-inch Sony, but I want to get a bigger one, a Vizio, actually. Just a cheap 1080p one that's pretty decent, just so I can game and really relax there. And that's just, it's really important and things and stuff like that. Like that's really what it comes down to what I love about gaming. Is just these gameplay experiences. I don't care how ugly the graphics are, and I don't care about the frame rate, really. I mean, I care, but my point is that what really matters to me is just getting that opportunity to experience the games that I never got to experience because I was either too young or my parents said no, or I was too immature to really grasp what the meaning of the experience was in the first place. And so I go back and I replay and I actually discover, oh wow, this is actually pretty cool. So that's my point. All right, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys replay games? Is there any games that you guys make a point to go back to? And let me know. All right, you guys have a fantastic day, and thank you for watching.